Jai Baba, chapter 116. Baba continued with the story. Anyway, the renovation work took place in a haphazard manner. When there were funds, the work would take place, and when the funds dried up, the work would halt. The miserly moneylender could have easily contributed enough to finish off the work, but he had no intention to part with a pice. One night, the wife had another vision. God appeared in a dream and told her, "There is no sense in trying to convince your husband to part with his money to renovate the temple. Forget it. Your single rupee which you shall contribute willingly and with love will be equivalent to 100,000 rupees. Offer this humble paisa or rupee to the temple fund, but only after taking your husband's guidance. Whatever you can contribute, do so. Remember, only love and devotion truly matters to the Almighty. The one who gives without love and devotion, that person's offering has no meaning and brings about no fruit." The wife woke up her husband again and told him about the second vision too. The husband thought his wife had gone mad or had become deluded. He did not trust her with her own money. The next day he gathered all her jewelry and took it into his possession. In place of the jewelry, he gave her some land which had been mortgaged to him by somebody else who could not pay off a loan. In reality, the land was non-fertile. Nothing grew on it, and it was considered to be a wasteland. He told his wife, "Go ahead and offer this land to Neelkant. It is worth 1,000 rupees. I am sure that Lord Shiva will be very pleased with you." The wife offered the land to Lord Shankar, little realizing that in reality the land belonged to a lady who had mortgaged this land for a loan of 200 rupees. This lady, by the name of Dubaki, was a very poor person who had no option but to mortgage her land in exchange for money. Thus, the moneylender had not only given his wife land that belonged to somebody else, but also taken away all her jewelry. The land was given to a poor Brahmin priest. He was such a noble man. One day, there was a huge storm in which the rich miser, his wife, and the poor lady Dubaki all died. In the next birth, the miser was born in Mathura in a poor Brahmin family. His name was Veer Bhadrapa. The miser's noble wife was born to a temple priest, and she was named Gauri. The poor lady Dubaki was born as a boy named Basappa. He was born to the attendant of the temple. Well, the temple priest was a friend of mine. He would come and meet me often and have a smoke with me. His daughter loved me dearly. She grew up to be a very beautiful girl, and the priest decided to get her married. He approached me and I guided him not to worry. The boy shall come himself seeking a hand in marriage. The rich miser, now born as a poor man in a Brahmin family and known as Veer Bhadrapa, came to the small town, begging for food. He reached the house of Gauri, and due to karmic ramifications, Gauri's father approved of this boy as a partner for his daughter. Karma always ties up all loose ends. Anyway, they came for my consent and I gave it, as I could see their past life connect and the pending karma that needed to be worked out. This Veer Bhadrapa, who was the rich miser in his former life, was devoted to me in the beginning. He would keep seeking predictions from me as to when his time would get better. Unfortunately, he only hankered after money even in this lifetime. He was a miser reborn as a miser. I told him that Gauri's planetary position would get very strong soon, and after that there would be no want of money. Gauri's planetary positions became favorable, and remember that piece of land, the wasteland of the past lifetime? In this lifetime, it belonged to Gauri's father. The land gained tremendous value. They got an offer of 1 lakh rupees. Remember, in the dream, God had told the miser's wife that if she puts in 1 rupee, it would make her offering worth 100,000 rupees. Well, it did not happen in that lifetime, but in this lifetime, the value of the land became 100,000 rupees. The new buyer purchased the land. He paid half of the sum immediately, while he would continue to pay the other half in installments. It was decided that he would pay a sum of 2,000 rupees every year. Adding interest to the total, he would be able to repay the other half of the money in 25 years. This way, not only would Gauri have a huge sum in hand, but every year she would get a tidy sum for the next 25 years. To cut a long story short, there was a huge fight between Veerbhadrappa, his wife, and Basappa. I told Veerbhadrappa that everything belonged to Gauri. He accused me of trying to take Gauri's side so that I could eventually usurp all the money. I kept Gauri quiet. Next day, Gauri saw a dream in which the Lord guided her to spend money on the temple renovation and to give Basappa half the amount from the interest received by her and to trust me, who sat in the masjid. Veerbhadrappa could not digest this vision, and he did not want to share any money with anybody, least of all Basappa. One day he threatened Basappa in front of me. He said he would cut Basappa to pieces and nobody would be able to save him. Basappa fell at my feet and I told him that in this life and in the next too I would be his protector. Soon Veerbhadrappa died, so did Basappa. Their karmas made them be reborn as a snake and a frog. I kept my promise of saving Basappa. Remember, karma leaves nobody but his grace transcends karma, and when he promises you protection, that promise is never forgotten. This is the story of greed that eventually leads a human being to be reborn into the animal kingdom. I have kept my promise, and this is the end of the story. Come, let us have another smoke from the chillam. I shall go back to my dwelling, and you return to your village, and always keep me in your heart and mind. Hemant Pant bowed down to Baba. Sai smiled. Peace be to all. Baba, keep the animal instincts within us always under your control, and let us always make thou happy and proud of us. Jai Sai.